back, everybody. Sarcasm Speaks, Jared and Bob here. Game 2 for us. So out of the gate, we have a loser lap to take because we spent basically the entirety of the last episode talking about Bryson DeChambeau in the U.S. Open. But we do have a loser lap to take. Jerry West has died. So the former Los Angeles Laker, the also, some people don't know this, is the logo, is the NBA logo. Like that silhouette is actually a silhouette of Jerry West. He's dead. I think he was 76. No, maybe he
Okay,
was a little.
I figured he would have been way older than
No,
that.
maybe it was 86.
That would start to
Um,
make more sense.
yeah, because he would have played in the Bill Russell years, right?
Uh, yeah, kind of.
He was 86. Yep, that makes more sense. So, yeah. Again, no one had him on our celebrity death pool. We are pretty terrible so far this year, except for you. You hit Jack Burke.
Sure did.
I think everyone else on our list is still alive. So, I mean, we're only halfway through the year. We still got 6 more months. We'll see how it goes. But not looking good so far.
Yeah, generally we're not.
Yeah, usually. We just had 1 year um that was different. So speaking of different, um we've got some information that I tend to agree with. I believe you also agree with me as well. But it is different than what the common public sentiment and things have been lately. And I think it's a turn in the right direction. So there was an announcement made recently that Lia Thomas is not eligible to compete in the Olympics.
Oh, that's a shame, huh?
The IOC came down and said, nope, she cannot compete because she is a trans woman. So
Yeah, I mean, we've been on record like I'm good with that. It's
yeah,
I don't like women's athletics already are at a disadvantage. We don't need this shit.
right,
And that's
right.
all it does. All it does is bring negativity to it. And I actually heard that, like in regards to the golfer, I heard someone was like, they're like, well, you don't really know like the testing and the rules and the regulations, and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care.
doesn't matter.
It's not the fucking same. So,
Right, right.
well, the other competitors don't really have a problem. Don't care. Still don't care.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Um, it's like one of the weird like political stances that like I'll actually take. I guess it's political. I don't know. I feel like it's more of a sport take.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
it's become political like most things.
yeah, and like that's the problem because then it's like then you get lumped in with like the conservatives trying to use this as like their platform.
Right, right.
But it's just it's very simple for me. Women in sport are already at a severe disadvantage. Like, can we just not fuck that up?
Right.
And the Olympic level is the biggest display of that. So let's fucking not.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. So, I mean, good on the IOC for finally doing something good. Usually, whenever we talk about the IOC, it's because they've done something stupid, like remove wrestling or remove Olympic weightlifting, where it's quite literally in the name.
Russian doping scandals.
Yeah. Yep. They added in, what did they added in something, so flag
Flag
football.
football.
Yeah. Like it's dumb, right? But finally, I can say that I agree with something the IOC has done. So,
I
a
think
lot.
piggybacking off that, this might be the first year that I don't watch a single Olympic event. And I don't know if I'm just old. Fuck Olympic golf. Shit, I might watch that. Wait, it's in France?
Yeah, Evian.
6 hours ahead of time.
Yeah, 5 to 6,
France six, might be
depending on
five.
where.
Are they directly south of England or are they more
They're slightly more
west?
east.
East. West.
West. That's what I
Um,
said.
okay, they're probably still five then. Maybe not six.
Some parts of the country might be 6. Like it's
Shit. Okay.
probably both.
Shit. I will watch Olympic golf because I think it'll be on in the mornings. But dude, it's like I was talking to someone about this. Like, it's actually a little bit of everything. It's the same thing with baseball. Like when we were a kid, you could put on Sports Center and they would cover Olympians.
Yeah.
They would cover the events. They would cover the athletes. You could put on Baseball Tonight every night and they would just show baseball highlights.
Yeah.
And you knew who all the players were, you knew who was hitting the home runs, you knew who the pitchers were, you knew everything. And now it seems like ESPN, yes, they have Sports Center, but then it's like it's all those fucking talking shows because they're not talk shows, but like
They're
whatever
arguing shows.
whatever those fucking things are that no one wants to hear. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that shit. I don't know any Olympians. I don't know who to get excited about. I don't know who to give a shit about. I don't know anyone.
Yeah.
No,
Is
no
Shaun White
swimmers.
skateboarding?
I mean, he did once upon a time, but he was primarily a snowboarder.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like
I mean, I'm totally
we
making this out of my like pulling this out of my ass, but is Shaun White potentially the only person to ever compete in both a winter and summer Olympics?
no, didn't was it Lolo Jones? Wasn't she like
Oh
bobsled
yeah,
and
she was
in running?
bobsled. Yeah, yeah. No, that's true. That's true.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't I don't know any Olympians.
Yeah.
Like, are we any good?
Yes. Ooh, yeah, not Gabby Douglas. Simone Biles. Is she
I think I
still?
saw a commercial. I think she's competing.
Has to be her last
It's got to
Olympics.
be like in terms of like
She's
gymnastics,
probably like
she's a fucking
27.
senior citizen.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
in terms of gymnastics, she's geriatric.
Yeah, yeah, it's like a pregnancy over 35.
Yeah, yeah,
She's a geriatric gymnast,
yeah, yeah. At
even though
20,
she's not
like
even
27. Like, oh
yeah,
my God. Like your
yeah.
lifespan as a gymnast is like 16 to 24.
Yeah, so I think she's going. Kari Richardson's probably running. Do you know who she is?
Yeah, she's a sprinter.
She's a sprinter. I think she went to LSU. Uh, she didn't get to go to Japan because she failed a weed test. And
Nice.
she was like, I think she might be the best American sprinter.
So she's like, cool, man.
Maybe. Um, and actually, so again, I would never pay attention to shit like this. I guess so one of the guys on the golf course, he like his father trained like his father's like a world renowned like marathon or distance running coach. I mean, his father's dead now, but uh he had like in the 80s, he had like 7 winners. Now one guy won like 4 of them,
Right, right.
but yeah, he had like dudes like right up there. He told me that there's a woman in shit. Do they do a 400-meter hurdle? That seems like a long time for hurdles.
Maybe. Yeah, that's one lap, right? A
That's a
full lap.
lap. I mean, it's not a whole lap of hurdles. Maybe it's like 2 sets of hurdles.
That would be pretty funny if it was. Like literally 400 meters worth of hurdles.
Yeah, so it's one lap. Do they just do like 2 sets of hurdles on either side? I don't know.
Yeah, they might.
Anyway, I guess the Americans have a woman that's will probably break every record, but I don't know her name.
Yeah, I don't know anybody. I mean, outside of like obviously like golf, right? With Shoffley
Yeah, and I mean, dude,
and
basketball, like,
Scheffler
are the
and
NBA
basketball
are
too,
the
right?
NBA
Like
guys going to basketball?
probably, I think they always do. Um,
Or what did they lose last year? Not last year, last cycle.
I don't know.
And then that's why I think like a lot of the guys all of a sudden were like, yeah, fuck this, I'm going. Or maybe they lost like the basketball championship or something.
Yeah, like the FIBA something. I don't
Yeah,
know. Yeah, I
I don't.
truthfully, I don't know. But
This,
like,
actually, this right here is this is like kind of the problem now with the modern Olympics.
we just don't
You and
know.
I know more about sports than most people, and we have no fucking idea what's going on
True.
with the Olympics. And they're like a fucking month away,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I could give a shit less about soccer. Dude, they're playing the fucking Euros right now. Like, how the fuck are they playing the Euros and then the Olympics right away? Like, how the fuck did that happen?
Yeah.
Like, does that always happen? Because the World Cup runs opposite the Olympics?
Yeah. Truthfully, too, like when it comes to the Olympics, like I know it's the Olympics and like it's cool and whatever. I don't think people really give a fuck about soccer in the Olympics. I think
No,
people
just
really care
Americans.
about the World
They don't
Cup.
care. I think it goes World Cup, Euros, Olympics.
Right.
Now maybe the Brazilians like the Olympics because they don't have the Euros, but like who gives a fuck about South America, honestly?
Yeah. It's basically two countries down there. That's it.
Yeah, I mean they all play, but I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I mean right here, that lies the problem.
Yeah. I mean, I
I don't know,
think
one swimmer, one sprinter.
outside
I assume
of,
Shikara. I mean, one male sprinter,
yeah, I don't know. I don't think I know any male athletes.
individual athletes. I don't know
Yeah.
one.
Again, outside of like the main like
Yeah, the
golf,
team sports don't
basketball,
count.
whatever. Like that's dumb. If baseball is back, I think baseball is now back too,
I don't even know. Baseball's in, out,
which is
indifferent.
a whole other thing, which is the whole
Truthfully, you
reason
wouldn't even know
why.
the baseball players. Like
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true
okay.
too.
So I know like a couple guys from Japan, a couple Americans.
Yeah.
Juan Soto's from somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know where.
But like the whole reason why they created the World Baseball Classic was because they removed baseball from the Olympics back in like 2004 or something.
Yeah, then
And
they
it's
put it
like
back.
now it's back. So I don't know if it's back for this Olympics or it'll be back in 2028, but I know baseball is back. So it's like, outside of like the major sports, like your non-traditional Olympic sports, right? Like a
Team
traditional
sports.
Olympic sport is like a non-mainstream, right? Swimming, track, gymnastics, archery, whatever. Like those are your I call Olympic sports, right? Weightlifting, right? Like things like that. Those are Olympic sports. Like basketball is not an Olympic sport, right? Yes, I know it is in the Olympics. It's not an Olympic sport, right? Like that's dumb. But I don't think I can name you one male Olympic athlete.
No individual. I don't know one individual.
I have no idea.
And like I don't know. Maybe we have a sprinter that's gonna win gold this year. I have no fucking clue.
Yeah. Mm, maybe I think Wes Kitts is going.
Don't know who that is.
He's an Olympic lifter.
Sounds nice,
Yeah. He's
I
also
guess.
like old at this point because he was lifting when we were lifting. Like I was at competitions coaching when he was lifting. And I think he might be our age or a little bit older. So he's probably going to the Olympics at like 35, 36 years old. So pretty awesome for American weightlifting, sending a 35-year-old.
That'd
Um,
be cool.
but yeah, so like it's just not important. It's not cool anymore, right? Like there's no like, oh man, it's the
Well, it's
Olympics.
not
Like
covered.
I don't give a shit about the Olympics.
It's not covered. Like
Yeah,
if it was covered, I'd fucking know about it. Even a
right,
little bit.
right.
even a little.
Yeah. Because all the big names are gone, right? Phelps is gone. Ryan Lochte is gone. Um,
I'm sure we have a nail swimmer.
yeah, I'm sure there's someone, but I just don't know who it is.
I was just saying, and then for a while there were like a couple women that were really good at swimming.
Yeah.
Like Missy Franklin was one.
Katie Ledecky,
Yep, that's a name.
Misty Franklin. Yeah, she was
Missy.
tall. She was like 6'5". She was huge. I
Oh
remember.
shit. So I said this to someone. I go, back in the day, we used to even know the beach volleyball team.
Yeah. Yeah, Misty May trainer and fuck, who was her
Can't think of
partner?
it. I can't think of. I can see her,
Yeah. Justine, Misty May and Justine. I don't know. But Misty May, I mean, how do you forget a name like Misty May? It sounds like a fucking porn star name. Misty
but that
May
was the thing
trainer.
is, I'm looking it up.
Harry Walsh.
Yes,
Yeah.
like
Misty May and Carrie Walsh. Like they were unbelievable.
and like so. Don't get me wrong. They won gold in 04, 08, and 12,
Right.
but they would like tell us about these people.
Yeah.
And yes, it like kind of goes to show you that like ESPN is kind of fucking stupid. Because again, it's like I don't know who would cover this at this point because ESPN isn't covering shit.
Right.
Like, how do you get people to care about these athletes when the sports channels don't cover it and the news channels are just bitching about fucking two old white guys?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it sucks, but dude, in my opinion, like the Olympics are dead. And like I could give a flying fuck less. Like I don't care if the US wins in basketball. I don't care if the US plays in soccer. I don't even know if they're eligible. Uh I don't care who wins the 100-meter run anymore.
Yeah.
And even if someone they broke Usain Bolt's record. Okay, I don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
Like I just don't care.
Yeah.
Um yeah, like gymnastics. I got nothing for you anymore.
Yeah. It's just not the same.
It's not covered, and that's the problem. And then I'm sure it'll be like some fucking shit show because France is doing whatever the fuck France is doing right now.
Yeah, probably something stupid, right?
Yeah, I think there was something weird about their government. Like they held an election and someone
Oh yeah.
won, so they like abolished the government or some shit.
Yeah, they're weird because they're like a parliamentary. That's a stupid
Yeah.
form of government.
I couldn't I was reading I was gonna put it in our sheet, but I couldn't follow what was happening because I didn't understand.
Yeah, there
Because
were
it sounded like
I think it was local elections or like lower level elections. So basically, what I think the equivalent is, and I could be making this completely inaccurate statement right now, but fuck it, we're not a show about facts.
on a fact-based show.
I think the equivalent would be like the House of Representatives, right? In Congress, there was like elections for those people, and enough people won in a different party so that whoever the party in charge was no longer had a majority. So because of that, they have to dissolve their federal government and or presidential whatever prime minister whatever and have a new prime minister election because of that. Because the parliamentary system is fucking goofy, dude. There's like I don't know, it's weird. It's weird. They can like call an election at any time.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. It sounded like that some party won some election. So
Yeah.
the prime minister goes, "Okay, well, we're gonna have a special election. Oh, and by the way, that the government like doesn't exist right now." And I'm like,
Yeah.
this does
Yeah.
not make any sense to me. Now, here we are talking about it somehow. I
Right.
was like, I don't want to talk about this because I don't get it.
Yeah. Who
And I don't want
knows?
to meet anybody that knows anything about French politics because why the fuck did you waste your why have you
Yeah,
wasted your time with French politics?
yeah, yeah. Louis the 18th. That's about all I know.
Yeah, French history, I get.
Right, right.
French politics, just surrender at adversity. That's all they do.
Well, speaking of politics, there's something going around right now that I think is super interesting that we actually talked about previously on this show. So
Were we right?
we're about to find out.
All right.
So, um, Donald Trump has floated the idea of abolishing federal income tax in lieu of increasing tariffs on all goods that are imported to the country. So, for anyone that doesn't know, a tariff is basically a tax, right? So, the knee jerk reaction by most people on the internet is yay, right? Like, let's celebrate. Yes, no more income tax, whatever. Okay, fine. However, what that's going to do is by increasing taxes or tariffs, to be more accurate, on goods that are imported into the country, those goods now become more expensive because that cost is going to get passed on to the consumer, right? So, I don't know, pick
Cars.
something random, cars. Yeah.
Toyotas.
Yeah. So a Toyota Corolla is going to go from $15,000 a year to purchase to maybe $20,000 to purchase, right? So things become more expensive. However, the federal government is no longer taxing your income. So we talked about something similar to this in the past, not exactly, but I am actually in support of this. So I'm not like a blind in support, like, yeah, no federal income tax. That means more money for me. No, no, no. I understand that that means goods are going to become more expensive. But what we talked about before, I don't know if you remember this, we talked about getting rid of income tax and just replacing it with a sales tax, right? Or increasing a sales tax. So in Massachusetts, it's a 6.25% sales tax. Um, and the income tax is a flat 5% in the state, right? So if we abolish, this was our conversation was if you abolish the state income tax and make the sales tax like 9%, right? Like a 9% sales tax. I'm okay with that because what that does is it taxes you on actual dollars spent, right? Like, I do not like that my income is taxed passively, right? Like, I am not allowed to earn the money that I have been agreed to be paid by my employer until the government comes in and takes some money first. Like, no, 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 no. That's not how this works. Like, that's my money. Like, I take my money, right? And then if goods are more expensive, and in our previous example, if sales tax was higher, I'm willing to spend more on more goods because I have more money. So at the end of the day,
It washes out.
it washes out. However, it actually helps. And now I'm not an economist, right? So don't don't fucking take this for economic advice. But at the end of the day, I believe that this actually helps people of lower incomes, right? Because if you have a lower income, you can then save money. If you're frugal, right, and you have a low income, you can save money better because the federal government isn't, taking off the top before you get your paycheck every week, before you get your direct deposit. Uncle Sam takes money off the top because you owe me for taxes. You're welcome for being a citizen, right? Oh, thanks, Uncle Sam, you fucking prick. What you can do is it would allow like the lower class, lower middle class to be able to be frugal, right? Save their money and actually eventually be able to have money and maybe move up into some sort of you know, in the class system, right? Whether it's they can afford a better house, right? Or what have you, right? They can afford better things in the future if they're able to be frugal and save money up front because they're not spending money. So what you're doing is you're taxing transactions, basically. So if you want to spend more money, you're going to spend more money, right? If you want to spend less money, you're going to be taxed less. Like, I think, to me, at least, that system makes way more sense just from an inequality standpoint too, right? Because what's the big gripe on taxes right now? It's like, oh, the rich don't pay their share, right? It's like, okay, well, fuck off, right? Because if someone makes $100 million a year, right, and they finagle their taxes to be in the 12% or 14% tax bracket, but you make $75,000 a year and you're in the 22% tax bracket, yeah, sure. You can stand there and be like, I'm in the 22% bracket, but this 100 millionaire was somehow in the 12% bracket. Well, hey, dum dum, guess what 12% of $100 million is? It's a lot more than what 22% of $75,000 is, right? So, like the whole like, oh, they don't, millionaires don't pay taxes or they don't pay their fair share. Listen, man, like get a fucking better accountant, then like make more money. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't like that argument. I think that's a dumb argument. Um, but what removing the income tax and replacing it with a tariff or a sales tax would do is that person that makes $100 million a year, if they're going to spend a lot of money, they're going to get taxed more, right? Like, I think that is fair and equitable. Like, if you're going to spend more money, you're going to effectively pay more in taxes. If you make $100 million a year and you want to be frugal and you want to just buy a $250,000 house somewhere and, drive a Toyota Corolla and do whatever, and you want to bank that money, then you bank that money and you're going to have tons of fucking money, right? But if you make $100 million a year and you're going to buy a $12 million house and you're going to buy a $500,000 Lamborghini and all this, you're going to pay more. You're going to pay more in taxes because you're purchasing things, right? So, like, to me, and I know it's not apples to apples exactly, right? It's like, Golden Delicious to Macintosh, right? Like, they're kind of the same apple, but not really. Where like we're talking about, abolishing the income tax for tariffs versus a sales tax. I know it's not the same thing, but I'm on board. I'm on board for that. I'm okay if things get more expensive because if you don't want them, just don't spend the money, right? Like,
Is
let
there
me keep my money. Let me decide how much tax I'm going to spend effectively, right? Because it puts it in your hands. You decide how much tax you're going to spend by how much money you spend, by how many things you purchase.
I mean, you can also mix in like a luxury tax too. So you could like raise sales tax. I mean, it all ends up being taxes. So like let's say a car and you're in
Right.
Massachusetts, right? So you pay sales tax, which is state only. So say in Massachusetts, it's 6.25 state, it's 3% federal, and if you want to buy a fucking Lamborghini, it's a 5% luxury tax. And I don't know where that line draws, but whatever.
Yeah, you call it like a 1% tax on any purchase over half a million
100K.
dollars.
Yeah,
Yeah, or something like
whatever.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Minus housing. You'd probably have to take houses out of the
no,
equation. So
houses wouldn't be a luxury because that's a need,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
You
Right.
also don't pay sales tax on a house. You
True.
pay property taxes.
Correct. Yeah.
Um, Same with clothes and groceries, you don't pay tax.
Right.
So keep that. Uh, is there also a backdoor thing here where if you are putting that money back to tariffs, that would promote domestic product?
Yes. Yeah,
because I'm thinking if
it would favor domestic production.
yeah, because if Toyota needs to go up 3% because they are an import,
Right.
Ford theoretically could be 3% cheaper for a comparable vehicle.
Right.
It's not the worst thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know if I'm sold 100%. I love the idea. Let me choose. Love
Right.
that idea. I like the idea that imported stuff, sure. Like
Oh man, I gotta spend more money on cheese.
the pecorino, the hard cheeses of Italy have just gone up
Yeah.
because you can import hard cheese, not soft cheese.
Yeah.
We've learned that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like I do like that idea. I think I'm in. I don't know what the trade-off is. It's like, yeah, shit's gonna
Yeah.
be more expensive, but so I think the scummy thing, I think what you would see with like the scummy thing is like uh a Ford Explorer is probably comparable to what a Toyota
Highlander.
RAV4 Highlander, probably Highlander at this point.
Because a RAV4 is like an escape.
Yeah, I don't think the price points match, but that's okay. In Fantasyland, they match.
Yeah.
Uh, I think what would end up happening is instead of Ford being like, "Hey, we'll just be 3% cheaper because that's an import," they'll probably just raise their prices because that's what the market dictates.
Exactly. Yeah, that's probably what they'll
So,
do.
well, yeah, that it's like, oh well, a mid-size SUV, that's what it costs. It's like you fuckers, you're built here. Like that was supposed to be the point.
Right. Right. Or they would raise 2%, right? So they can still say they're cheaper,
Yeah,
but they're like maximizing, you know what
yeah,
I mean? Like they're maximizing
yeah.
without, going over.
So that's the thing is like it would promote domestic product, but I don't think it would be as clean cut as we would all like.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. I mean, I guess all that being said, I think I would probably be more in favor of a federal sales tax. I think what I'm explaining, right, what I'm talking about is you abolish the federal income tax and you replace it with a federal sales tax.
I think I'm in on that too.
Yeah. Whatever it's 3%, like whatever it needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, if it gives me more cash and then, I choose to buy what I buy,
Exactly.
I still think it would annoy me after probably a short period of time because, like everyone else, I would forget the fact that I'm bringing home more money.
Right.
I mean, like, it's 3%. Fuckers.
Yeah. Yeah. I probably still complain about it after a while because that's what I do.
Yeah.
But I think it just makes things make more sense. And most of all, I think it creates equity in the best way possible because there's really no way to make things equitable without starting to do like weird like socialist communist stuff, right? Like, I think a federal sales tax is probably the closest you're going to get to that for all of the reasons that I just mentioned. Right? Like if you want to buy more things, then you're going to pay more in taxes effectively. So I don't know. I'm on board, right? Like you said, there could be something about this that's really dumb that I just don't know. But I think what I'm really on board for is replacing a federal sales tax, replacing federal income tax with a federal sales tax instead. That would be like, sign me up. I'll vote yes on that 100%. Um, I think on the surface, I would prefer this tariff thing over the income tax thing.
Yeah, tariff thing's gonna get kind of gross. I
Yeah,
feel like I just like my Ford Toyota example. That's what's gonna happen.
right, right. Yeah, and then again, at the end of the day, you're probably going to have roughly the same amount of money, right? Like the difference in money is
Yeah,
probably
it's
going to
just
still
more
be the same.
steps.
Yeah, it's just more steps. But like the federal sales tax thing is like you make that choice, right? Like you can choose to not buy, new clothes every month, right? Or you can choose,
Those are tax free.
yeah, or whatever. You can choose not to buy the
Go out
Lamborghini.
to eat.
Yeah, you can, yeah, exactly. Right? Like you can choose to do those things and save money. So just something I saw people, because you get the people immediately. They only read half the story, right? They only read no more income tax, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is fantastic." It's like, well, there is another side to it. Yeah, it's almost like, yes, it is potentially a good thing, but like not for the reasons that you think it's a good thing. Like in math class, you got the right answer, but like the way you got it made zero fucking sense. Um, all right, what else we got here? Oh, this is funny. I think this is funny. Um, so I think we may have talked briefly about a few months ago. There was the whole issue with Tesla, and Elon Musk hit a like an incentive in his contract to get a base pay, or like an incentive pay, not a base pay, to get an incentive pay of like $42 billion. So Tesla was incorporated in the state of Delaware because there's some weird loopholes or whatever in Delaware and all this stuff. And somehow someone filed something in court, and it made its way into a courtroom, and a judge blocked Elon Musk's ability to be paid this $42 billion or whatever. And on the surface, that's absurd, right? Because in his contract, he had stipulations that clearly stated, if you do X, you will get paid Y. If you do A, you will get paid B, right? Like he had all of these things. He hit as many performance bonuses as he hit to be paid the equivalent of $42 billion. Now, just because some bitch somewhere didn't like that, they filed a motion in court, and a judge ruled, no, you can't receive pay for $42 billion. First of all, fuck you for getting involved in anything like that. Again, it's high profile. It's Elon Musk. It's, people want to put a political spin on it because, he's not left wing, right? Whatever, it doesn't matter. If I have something in my contract with my employer that says, if I complete X projects, I will get $1 million bonus, and someone hears about it and they're like, well, you shouldn't get paid $1 million for that. Like, that's like whatever X amount times greater than your actual salary. Like, doesn't make any sense. That's none of your fucking business, because my company agreed to this, right? Like, I know Elon Musk is the CEO of Tesla, but there's also a board of directors, right? Like there's people that he answers to, and everyone was on board, because if they weren't, wouldn't have been in the contract, right? So there's this whole big bullshit, whatever. It gets held up in court, all this stuff. Well, as a fallout of all of this, Elon Musk is taking Tesla out of Delaware as being a corporation, and is now incorporating them in Texas, right? So the headquarters was also in Texas, but like the paperwork was filed in Delaware. Now the paperwork is going to be filed in Texas. And now there was a shareholder vote last week. And part of the voting process for all of the shareholders in Tesla was, do you want to pay Elon Musk the $42 billion? Do you want to guess what passed in an overwhelming majority?
I would assume yes.
Yes. So now Elon Musk is going to be paid, because it doesn't matter what this judge said, because the shareholders in Tesla voted yes as a majority to pay him the money that was owed to him. So now he's going to get his money after all. But like after all of that, right? Like some jabroni filed a motion in court for something, and then a bigger jabroni judge was like, yeah, no, you can't get paid that money. It doesn't matter that that's what the contract says. You can't get paid that. And
Such an
now,
odd thing, right?
yeah, and now he's going to get paid. And now Delaware is losing the whatever income it would have gotten through taxes. It's a funny tax episode, because Tesla now no longer has anything to do with the state of Delaware. And because of this, I saw like when this was new, right? When this first happened, I think it was I forget who it was, but it was someone like surprising. Went on like CNBC or like one of those like money shows and was like, this is not good for the state of Delaware because there's so many large corporations that are incorporated in that state that if they're going to set the precedent of doing something like this, then they're just going to leave, right? Like these corporations are just going to file their paperwork in a different state. So now, like I said, Delaware has lost Tesla. They're probably going to lose some other large companies. And Elon's going to get his money at the end of the day anyway. So it's like, that's what you get. That's what you get for being a little fucking bitch.
Yeah, I'm actually all for it now. You
Yeah,
want to be an idiot, here's the repercussions.
100%.
I'd love to know how much money Tesla paid the state of Delaware. I wonder if I can Google that. It's got to be public record, right?
Yeah, I would imagine so because it's a publicly traded company. Well, how much money did Tesla pay the state of Delaware?
Shit, it's not easy to find.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was $56 billion. I thought it was 42. $56 billion. That's pretty bananas.
I really, yeah, I see you can't find this that easy. I really wish I knew how much they paid. But it's got to be, I mean, it's got to be a big enough fucking chunk. Tesla's a massive company.
Right. I mean, they have enough money to pay their CEO $56 billion.
I guess he's doing okay, huh?
Yeah. Let's see. Tesla income taxes. I don't know if that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, but they do. So that's the problem is they do business in all these states.
Yeah.
So they for sure have a tax return in every state.
Right. Right.
Maybe not Alaska. You think there's electric cars in Alaska?
Probably not. I can't imagine people in
Imagine that needing a
Alaska.
fucking charging station in Alaska.
Yeah, I can't imagine people in Alaska are like, yeah, oh yeah, I definitely want an electric car. Yeah, probably not. They're like, hey man, I'm trying not to get eaten by a fucking grizzly bear. Like,
Yeah. Hopefully nature doesn't kill me tomorrow.
yeah, yeah. Oh, we haven't seen the sun in 3 months, and there's fucking bears
Yeah,
everywhere.
and then soon we'll only see the sun for 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, charging station? I don't think so.
Yeah. You want what? I just tried to ask ChatGPT. We'll see what it says. Oh, yeah. The amount of taxes Tesla pays annually can vary significantly due to various factors.
Wow, imagine that.
Yeah.
Thanks, ChatGPT. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. AI's taking over.
But Tesla's tax payments are typically disclosed in their financial filings with regulatory bodies like the SEC. Can you show me their tax filing from 2022. I don't have the ability to browse the internet or access specific documents like Tesla's tax filings.
Sure
However,
can.
you can find Tesla's tax filings, including their annual reports, on the SEC website. Yeah, I don't feel like doing that. Because then not only that, but then you have to like read through the document to find out like specifically in Delaware. It's like it's not worth it. Not worth my time right now. But yeah, like I said, I just thought it was a pretty funny story that after all of that, a judge files, you can't pay him. They put it to a shareholder vote. They all vote yes, he gets his money, and Tesla's like, yeah, fuck you, I'm moving to Texas. So, and now other companies are probably going to leave Delaware too as a result. So I'm all on board with that. It's a very on board episode. Maybe that'll be the title, all aboard or some bullshit like that. Who knows? Um, well, you want to wrap it up?
We can wrap this up. I didn't find the tax numbers as quickly. Oh my God, though, their financial statements. I was looking at something, I go, 52,000. I go, that's not right. Their financial statements are in millions. It's so good. Imagine earning you earn so much money that your tax returns where ours will say like 643. Like that's dollars.
Yeah.
Their shit is fucking in millions. Oh,
So that's what,
woof.
5.2 billion?
What?
No, 52 billion?
What?
What is 52,000 million?
I don't even know.
52,000 times
That's also
1 million.
that's their total liabilities.
Yeah, it's 52 billion.
Oh, that's their balance sheet. Their balance sheet is for December 2020. And then December 2021 is 62,000 millions.
62 billion. That's insane. That's a lot of fucking money. Holy shit. So they made 62 billion in a month?
No, it's much more complicated. No, it wasn't a month.
Oh.
It was the year,
Oh, as of,
and
okay.
it's more complicated than that because it's liabilities and assets and
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yes, final thought. Michaela and I went to Capitol Grill in Dedham. I think it's less than a year or so. Um, Obviously Capitol Grill's got a reputation, steakhouse, higher level of food, higher level of service. Obviously the price dictates such things. Uh, but we chose Dedham just because obviously that's a fucking really easy like ride for us.
Mhm.
Um, so took an Uber so we could both drink. Uber driver goes the wrong fucking way,
Of course.
of course. Still make the reservation, but fine, like fucking 4 minutes before.
Yeah.
Uh, and going into it, I didn't really know kind of what to expect here, right? Because it's not downtown Boston. This is Dedham, Massachusetts. It's
Right.
connected to a shopping plaza where all types of people are there, any
Right.
and all.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, it was pretty pretty legit Capitol Grill. I mean, I don't know all the ins and outs of most of these steakhouses. I don't go to them very often, but as far as I could see, there was no real difference.
Yeah.
Now maybe there is for someone that goes frequently. But I couldn't tell. And then uh it did come up, so like the server knew it was that we're getting married next week, which if you're listening to this, I'm getting married tomorrow.
Yeah.
Um so they brought out like a dessert plate. They made congratulations in chocolate on the plate with like two little things, whatever. Um with two glasses of champagne. So shout out Capital Grille Dedham. Like they didn't charge us for that.
Oh wow.
So at least I don't think they did. I don't know. I just grabbed the bill and just was like, yeah, get.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, shout out Capital Grill. It's obviously like its reputation precedes itself, but the that was like kind of like a nice thing that they
Yeah.
certainly did not have to do.
What did you get?
I got bone-in strip, and
Is
Michaela
that
got a scallop seafood risotto, scallop lobster risotto that we kind of like moved a little bit of it back and forth.
nice? Is that is that a place like the place we went to in Nashville where the sides are a la carte?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. That place we went to in Nashville was like pretty legit. That might be the
Same idea.
nicest the nicest place I have ever been to eat food in my I don't even want to call it a restaurant, but it because it's more than that. It was the nicest place I've ever been to eat food in my entire life.
Yeah, so same idea, right?
Yeah.
Um, so of steakhouses, I've been to Capitol Grill downtown, Capitol Grill Dedham. I've been to Abe and Louie's downtown, and then Jeff Ruby's. I don't even know what the fucking place was called in Nashville. Jack Ruby's.
Dude, Jack Ruby's the guy that killed Lee Harvey Oswald.
Is it
He
Jeff?
got it. He got his own steakhouse.
Is it? It's something Ruby, right?
I think so.
Jeff. It's his
Jeff.
brother.
Yeah, yeah, Jack's brother Jeff.
Yeah, so same idea, dude. Like, um, yeah, like you order the steak as is, the table, the sides are for the table. Um, Usually the food's good. Usually the servers are like career servers. They're usually not like rushing you out the door, which I don't need that shit.
Right.
Um, but like usually it's like they give you your time, not like, okay, not only are we gonna charge you a lot for this meal, but like how quickly can we fucking fire you out of here?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like that. So yeah, I mean, it's very similar idea. That being said, so Michaela and I, like, our plan was, okay, we'll get an appetizer, fine. Like, we'll get a steak, we'll get a side, and we'll get that scallop plate because she wanted to like try it, and we'll just kind of like split the two.
Yeah.
Uh, they had a on the menu a tomahawk veal chop that was served with crispy prosciutto and
Oh,
something
come
else like
on.
in a thing.
A tomahawk
So,
veal chop with prosciutto, that had to be at least $110.
nope, very reasonable. It's under 70.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm going to Capitol Grill next week.
So, and that's the other thing too, right? So, like, I've tried to stop being like as much of a cheap fuck, and now luckily, like certain things have come off my spending, but like I've tried to be like less of a cheap fuck. But like, if I really break this down for a second, we got a bottle of wine for like $100, which is more or less the going rate for a tableside bottle. Is it a
Yeah.
ripoff? Yeah, absolutely. But that's not what you don't do that.
Right. You're looking at like a almost a three times up. You can upcharge. You
Crazy,
can get a $15 bottle of wine at a liquor store is going to cost you $50 at a restaurant.
if not more. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, then I mean, like the steak I got was like probably 65. Her dish was like 50. mashed potatoes were like 13. So it's like, don't get me wrong, this isn't, and we got oysters to start. That was like 20. Like, dude, the bill was like $260 with a bottle of wine on there. So it's like, if you don't want the
Yeah.
bottle of wine, but like, dude, for like a legit steak. Now, again, we didn't get two legit steaks, but I just told you it was a
Right.
$50 entree. So it's like,
Right.
what it would have been? It would have been $15 more.
Right.
Like, yeah, I'm not saying I'm going to go every weekend, but it's actually not that bad.
Right. Right.
Now, you can also pull a Cunty Chris and you can start with a round of drinks or cocktails. Then you can order like four of them. Then you can order like a couple appetizers. And then you can get four different steaks, ask them to slice it up for you, of which is shared. And then you get two sides with it while also drinking two bottles of wine. And then you can get dessert drinks. And then yeah, sure, your bill became fucking almost eight, $900 pretty fucking fast.
Right. Right. Right.
But yeah, it's like, is it expensive? It is, but I think I spent more at in the North End one time just on food, and I it wasn't fucking as good.
Right.
Maybe it was it probably wasn't the same. It was probably a little bit less, but like it ended up being close. I'm like, this was not the fucking same at
Right.
all.
Right. Well, shout out to them. I may have to take a trip up there at some point.
There's one in Providence too, but that's like
Honestly, I think I'd
now
rather
you're
go to Dedham.
yeah, I was saying now you're talking parking and shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I'd rather go
so
to Dedham.
the tomahawk veal chop is definitely on my radar. And then I didn't do it because it wasn't real Wagyu. It was like a hybrid Wagyu. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, don't.
Yep.
You lost me at hybrid.
Right. Right.
Real thing or not,
Right.
I'm not doing this.
Right. I don't even know what that means, a hybrid Wagyu. It's
Oh,
weird.
it's like part American, Japanese. I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's
Japanese
a cheaper
cow
way
that
for
brought in
it's probably a
America.
cheaper way for them to sell Wagyu.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not, but that's the thing. If I'm gonna fucking do it, just give me the real fucking thing.
Right. Right.
They also had a bone-in fillet special, which is interesting, but I wasn't gonna mess with that.
Yeah. All right. So my final thought is so I was at Old Navy, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, buying some new clothes. I try and switch it up. Nice weather's coming. Some of my old stuff just doesn't fit me anymore, right? Like some of my shirts are like smalls and mediums, and I am not a small or medium anymore. I am a full-fledged large now. Um, so I'm just I'm turning over a little bit of my wardrobe, right? So I'm like, let me get this. And I saw a pair of blue slacks, khakis. Like, I don't know what you would call them. Like, just, I call them
Chinos?
khakis. Yeah, chinos. Sure. Let's call them chinos. They were like a light blue pair of chinos, right? And I go, those are kind of nice. I like those. Let me see if they have my size. So despite me being a large, right, my pant size has remained a 32-30 forever. Because even when my waist size was a little bit smaller, I had to wear size 32 pants because my fucking thighs wouldn't fit in my pants. So I've always had to wear 32-30s. Now my legs are a little bit smaller because I don't work out the way I used to, or at all, almost basically. Um, and my waist is a little bit bigger, right? So wouldn't you know, I still wear 32-30s. So again, for years and years and years, I've always worn a 32-30. Those are the pants that I wear. That's my size. Now, when you get to like dress pants and like suit pants, it's a little bit different because they're worn differently and they're whatever. So those are different, right? So those sometimes I'm like a 34-30, whatever, but that's beside the point. I buy a pair of light blue chinos that are 3230. I wear them to work one day last week and I put them on and I go, oh, okay, no, these are nice. They fit good. Like perfect. No issues, right? And I'm just kind of walking, whatever, and I go, they're a little short, but like, I don't know, it's kind of weird, right? And Amy goes, before I leave, she goes, are those pants short? And I go, yeah, I feel like they're like a little short, but like, I don't know, maybe they're just kind of like riding up. I don't know what it is, whatever. So then I go and I sit in my truck to drive to work and they ride up a little bit more. And like you can see like almost shin. And I go, what the fuck is this? So then I'm like sitting down at work and they ride all the way up to like almost shin. And I go, these are chinos. These are not dress pants that like you're supposed to wear long dress socks with so people can't see your legs or whatever. I go, they're just fucking pants, dude. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I get home and I have had the same pair of like beige, khaki, old navy 3230s for probably 2, 3 years now. I hold them up next to my new blue 3230s and I hang them from the exact same spot. I make sure they're at the exact same spot at the top. I put them together and I hang them from the top and I let them hang down. Wouldn't you know, the blue pants are a full inch shorter than my beige 3230 khakis from Old Navy, both from Old Navy, that I've had for like 2 or 3 years. So at some point, 30 inches on the inseam stopped being 30 inches on the
Yeah.
inseam.
Measure them.
And now it's 29.
So
Yeah, I should
I think you have
imagine.
a class action lawsuit
I
against
should
Old Navy
sue.
on your hands.
Imagine, dude, that would be fucking incredible.
They're not. It's like you said, 3230. They ain't
Yeah,
30.
these are not what they are. And like I get that like styles change, right? And things change. And because Amy even made the point, she's like, I think that's kind of the new style, right? Is like people wear them a little bit shorter, like it's like the higher up thing. People show their ankles, it's like a whole thing. And I go, that's fine, but I shouldn't be subject to this new style just because that's how things are. Like if I buy a 3230 pant, I expect the waist to be 32 inches and the inseam to be 30 inches. I do not expect the waist to be maybe 31 and a half inches and the inseam to be 29 inches. Because if I wanted 3129s,
I'd buy
I'd
3129.
buy 3129s.
Yeah.
I wanted 3230s.
I think we have a false advertising case on our hands.
Yeah. So if anyone out there is a listener that knows a lawyer that would take this case, let me
Just
know.
call one of the ones off the billboard.
Yeah.
Lionel Hutz.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean it's bullshit. So like now I have to like try on pants. Now again, I've worn the exact same size pants for 10 years. Like I haven't grown. I haven't grown since I was like 16 years old.
So shoes have gotten bigger and pants have gotten shorter, is what you're telling me.
Yes. Yep, that's exactly what I'm telling you. The world is fucked. So
That's fucking dumb.
there you have it. The dumbest time
Although
to
I will
be
say
buying clothes.
before I went and bought uh a new brand of golf shirt, I did go to the PGA store. I'm like, I have to try this shit on because like I am starting to see so much variance
Yeah, it
in
is. There's a
clothes.
lot. So
So
like I said, when I went through my closet and kind of like got rid of some of the old stuff, my Adidas polos were all smalls. But like
yeah,
some of the Under Armours that I had were mediums, and I had like an Old Navy medium. And if I held it up next to the Adidas small, they were the exact same size. The only real difference was the Adidas was a little bit shorter. So like the width wise, they were the exact same, but the Adidas small was like maybe like an inch or inch and a half shorter, like lengthwise.
Never buy a FootJoy shirt. They fit fucking crazy.
So now what I've had to do is like if I want to buy stuff online, I have to go to the size chart and find out like the actual measurements of the shirt because I've just been kind of like jumping around on like different online stores. There's stuff on Amazon, there's stuff I because now I get all the ads on Instagram, right? So like Sunday Swagger is another brand that keeps popping up and I have to go to their size chart and for Sunday Swagger I know I'm a 40, my chest is a size 44. I know this. I've been measured for suits very recently, actually, twice. One for your wedding and one for Mike's wedding. So I know my jacket size is a 44 short. That's what I wear. I have a size 16 neck, 44 short jacket. Anything else I couldn't tell you, right? But like now I have to like look at the measurements of the shirts because on Sunday Swagger, the large is like 48 inches. I'm like, I don't need 48 inches on the chest. Like, that's absurd. But then, like, a medium is like 46 inches and a small is like 45. And I go, there's a lot of jumps here that don't make sense, right? Like your small to large is 1 inch, but your medium, I'm sorry, your small to medium is 1 inch, but your medium to large is like 3 inches. Like it doesn't make any sense. And I go, I'm not going to buy a small shirt that I know the measurement is 45 inches, which is says what I should be wearing, right? Because I know my chest measurement. But like, I'm just not going to buy a small shirt because I feel like it's not going to fit. So it's like, it's ridiculous. Like, why do you have to vary your shit? Like, why can't
I
you
don't know.
just
I
make it
hate buying
easy?
clothes.
Yeah, same. Me
I
too.
fucking don't like it.
That's why I do it once, like every like 3 years. Just so happens that that 3 years is now.
Yep.
So that's going to do it for us for today, for tonight, whatever. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit subscribe up above, hit the thumbs up down below. Subscribe if you're an audio only guy. 5 stars on Spotify and Apple. That would be very nice. Please and thank you. You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod. Twitter is sarcasm_speaks. Facebook is sarcasm speaks. Website is sarcasmspeaks.com. Check out the show notes below for all the discount codes and products and cool stuff. Support them, support us. And until next time, good night, everybody.